What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be working on some of the pistons for the M52 TU. Let's get to it. As we did in the last video, we finally got done disassembling the bottom end. Pulled the pistons out. However, the only thing that's still in the block itself is the crankshaft, but pulled that cam cap. So check cam cap. Wow. Pulled the crank cap. We pulled the main bearing out of this part of the crank, and then we checked it. The bearing is good. As you can see, I just have it loosely bolted down because since these are torque to yield bolts, I need to get 2 more of these before we button up the bottom end. So yeah, so really stoked how that checked out and saved some money there. I took the rear main off. It's on the bench right there. But for now, you know, all the pistons are out, everything. We've been examining all the bores. All the cross hatching still there, so I'm not gonna hone the cylinders. They all look pretty good right now. We're just probably gonna to finish up, I guess, prepping the block. We're just gonna clean up all the carbon deposits and on the cylinder walls. I did 1 through 3 already. I just gotta do 3 to 6. If you look back from last video, we pulled the pistons, for example. So I have piston 1 to 6 here. That's how I laid them out. Don't ask me why, it's a little chaotic, but I just know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you look at all the bearings for them themselves, so the light's gonna bring it closer to it. So if you look at all the bearings themselves, they all have all their wornness to them and all that fun stuff. So I'm very glad that the crankshaft bearings were really good, so save money there. But I'm glad I bought new piston, or I guess rod bearings, because all these are, they're junk. They were all on their way out. So like this is cylinder 1. So I'm glad we're replacing these. I got the new Glico, however you pronounce it. New Glico rod bearings. They're just standard bearings. So we're gonna be throwing these in eventually. And then also got all brand new Molle piston rings. So we're gonna be redoing the rings and the bearings for the pistons. But first things first, as always, that's the way I like to do it. We gotta clean up these pistons. Let's clean up the bench a little bit first, and then we'll start cleaning. So I'm just gonna move all these tools out of the way. I'm really excited about the crankshaft being in great condition, as well as the bearings itself being in great condition, because that means we can get the bottom end back together quicker. And then with the bottom end back together quicker, we can finally start the manual swap. Believe it or not, we haven't even started the manual swap. We're doing nothing yet to manual swap this car. Yeah, this has definitely spiraled into, I want to manual swap my car. Oh, but while I'm in here, while I'm refreshing, it's the domino effect we all face. We are working with, we'll work with piston 1. As you can see, I've already started cleaning it when it was inside the block already. But yeah, this would give us a better, I guess, cleaning it without risk damaging the cylinder wall or scraping them up and all that fun stuff. So since I've already started cleaning it, yeah, I'm probably gonna pull the rings out, keep them stacked up with the original rings, because I don't like to throw anything out until it's done. All right, so let's pull these piston rings off. So here's the top one. And the oil control. The way I started cleaning this was with, I believe, I've been using this Zep degreaser, not sponsored, but call me. It really works very well on this like all this carbon deposits and everything. I don't think I'm gonna take out. I could take out the wrist pin and kind of like really clean them, but I don't think I'm gonna take apart the whole piston assembly. Like all that looks good. So we're just gonna clean up around here, I guess. So the top of the piston, and then we're gonna clean all of the grooves inside the piston. I gotta go out and buy brake cleaner because I do want to spray brake cleaner in the oil control areas. We use a little bit of a detail brush that I've been using to clean it. Spread it around, get in the grooves. Still got more scrubbing to do, but just a little bit. And look, the sides of the pistons are looking brand new. So this is also kind of why I want to pull the pistons, to clean this thoroughly, I guess, because I knew I wasn't going to get to the side of the pistons while I was in the engine. So it's not fully clean, but you guys will get the concept. Just a little bit of degreaser and some with a Scotch-Brite and some elbow grease. Get the piston looking brand new. I don't want to bore you guys with more cleaning, so I'm gonna clean up all the pistons. Cleaning them will give you a good way to inspect everything. Obviously, you gotta inspect, the rod itself, the piston top, check for cracks, anything like that. So I'm gonna finish cleaning up all these pistons, and then we're gonna move on. I got all the pistons cleaned, well, clean enough. Clean all the carbon deposits off them as best as I can. I feel like a little bit's not gonna hurt the engine, obviously still a little bit, but I am planning to just put an additive in here to help me when I first start it up and everything like that, so that way everything will be nice and clean, and all the rest of the gunk that I may have missed will get out. But now, since these are all clean, we move on to the piston rings. So I already did pistons 1 to 5. That's what you're seeing here. They're all gapped gapped correctly, and yeah. So I'm gonna do 6 on film. I just wanted to make sure I got the system down packed, get the pistons where I want them, and everything like that. As I've shown you guys before, I'm using the Molle piston rings. These ones are meant for BMW. Here's part number. As you can see here, it says Super Ford BMW. So these are the piston rings I'm using. So it doesn't come with instructions. So I looked up Molle's piston ring specs and I found this document. So it's from Molle Motorsport about where to lay out all the rings, all that stuff. And then over here is a chart. So for high performance street NA, you do the bore size times 0.0045, and that's how you get your top ring gap. So, and it shows you an example over here for a 4-inch bore example. So the M52TU is a 3.31 bore size, stock, obviously. So I did the stock bore size with the high performance street NA gaps. So if you look here at my 4th grade handwriting, you can see here at the top ring 3.31, that's the bore size, times the 0.0045 for the top ring. And then obviously it gave me 0.014895. Round it up, you get 0.015. So that's what that did for the top ring. The second ring, or the second compression ring, right there. So I got 0.017. And then the oil ring is just 0.015. So I wrote over here, minimal clearance, that's what you need for the minimal clearance. So there's no maximum clearance on here. This is all just minimum clearance. There's no labeled maximum clearance. Obviously, you don't want to gap them to like the moon and everything like that. So you want to keep it pretty standard. So I did the minimum clearances. They're a little bit bigger than, like for example, so I did my first set, and my top ring ended up, I grinded it down a little past 15 thou, I should say. I did it less than that, or more than that, so it's really like 16, 17 thou. My second compression ring is about 18 thou, and these ones are just 15 thou. So, and they already came stock, or they came out of the package already at 15 thou, so I didn't even bother grinding them down. So I did that for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we are here at piston 6, which is the last one I got to do. Surprisingly, this is not as complicated as I thought. I thought it was going to be really time consuming, everything, but I guess if you're going to get perfect specs, it's a little time consuming, but this hasn't been time consuming at all. I kind of got through this in like an hour. And now I'm on the last one, which is going to take, probably 10 minutes to do. And then surprisingly enough, you can start putting the pistons back in the car. So when you open the box, you know, nothing else left inside of it. All you're gonna have is your oil control ring, your top ring, second compression ring, and then your two oil rings. So we're gonna ignore the oil rings for now because they're oil rings. They're not really ones that have to get gapped. In my situation, could be different for you. So I start with the top ring. It's just a, you know, solid ring. There's no bevel to it or anything. So per my instructions or the document I pulled offline, where you see numbers, I think you could just see it. Where you see the stamped with the part number on top of it, that is clarified as the top of the ring. So obviously the top goes to the top, bottom goes to the bottom. And then on my compression rings, my second ones, it is labeled top on it, and then the bevel is facing the bottom of the piston. So that is how I distinguish from top and bottom of the piston. So most of the times they're labeled with like a dot or some type of stamp that says labels it as top. So basically all I'm doing is just taking the piston ring, I put it in, and then I take the coordinated piston it's going for. So this is piston number 6, and then all I do is just level it out. I do it probably to the bottom of the head of the piston itself to get the ring nice and level. And I just take my feeler gauge. This end I have at 17 thou. This one's at 15 thou. So then obviously top ring's 15 thou, and then I simply just try to get the feeler gauge in there. And now it's a little tight. See, I can't pull it out, and it's not also feeler gauge is also not all the way in. So we gotta grind the piston. All right, so this is my piston ring grinder. I got this off Amazon, I believe, for like, I don't know, 15 bucks. So all I'm doing is simply just putting the rings up to it. Gotta make sure it's level against the grinding wheel itself. I have noticed that sometimes with this cheaper ring grinder, it will grind the side of the ring on an angle, and then you have to straighten it out, which then skews measurements. So just be mindful of that if you get one off Amazon, not a professional one. All I'm doing is putting the piston ring flat against the wheel, and then just doing a little bit of grinding. That's it. I went 2 turns there. See, because you want to go very, very slow with this, because obviously we're working with thousands here. One little half of a grind takes off, I don't know, a speck, which generates to 1,000. So just be mindful of that, and then we just simply put it back into the piston. After we're done grinding it a little bit, you're gonna put it back into the ring, or back into the cylinder wall. You know, grab the piston, level it out with the head of the piston, grab the feeler gauge, and then put it back into the little slot. Right. So it's still fighting me, so that means I have to grind it a little bit more. Perfect. All right. So as you can see, I'm trying to give you guys the best angle, but so what I'm doing in the little gap there, I stick the feeler gauge in, and then it slips right in. So the shadows. So it slips right in. You can see, and then there's very little resistance of it, me pulling it. So that is signifying that it is at 15 thou. So that's the bare minimum. I'm gonna grind it a little bit bigger, probably 1 more thou, and then so that way we're at the minimum clearance, but we have a little bit of breathing room in there. It's the same exact process for the second compression ring, and then we can start popping pistons in. I got the second compression ring all gapped out, and that leaves me to have all the rings perfectly gapped. You know, some few things that I learned about doing it. It's just take your time, do it very slow. It's not something you want to rush. You know, do a little bit at a time. And I was going to start putting it back together with this video, but that kind of leaves it back down to there's nothing else left to do besides start putting the bottom end together. So I'm gonna cut the video off here. You know, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something along the way. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, say it in the comments. Tell me I'm garbage. I don't. It doesn't bother me. Just trying to also, as always, inspire people to do their own thing and learn something along the way. So do more, learn more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.